everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today is not a travel vlog, it's not a daily vlog, but I want to talk about something that I feel very important. There are some things that we don't share with our colleagues at work. So I have come up with 5 things that you might not share with your colleagues. First, I'd like to make it clear that that's not to say colleagues are bad people. It's just that when you guys are in the same company, you have conflicted interests. So imagine it like this. So you share the same cake, and the cake is just that big, and everyone is trying to grab their piece. So I think that's the key to understand. First thing you don't share with your colleagues is salary. For a couple reasons. Number one, it's written in your contracts. So I think most company will say don't share your salary with your colleagues. So if you share, you might get into legal trouble. That's that simple. So number two, if your salary is actually higher than your colleagues, they will not be happy for you. And number three, if your salary is lower than your colleagues, then they might start treating your work differently. Even we know that a number cannot define your work, but they might still undervalue your professionalism at work. So the bottom line is, the salary, the number might be some things that people remember about you, and actually that's the easiest way. That's like putting a tag on a person. So yeah, don't share your salary. And the second thing you don't share with your colleagues is gossip or bad words. Here's about bad mouthing someone at work. It never ends well for you. Let me break it down. First, what if the colleagues that you are sharing doesn't agree with you, and actually they are very close to the persons that you are talking about? That's what happens. They might tell the persons what you said, and boom, you have a new enemy at work. Second, the colleagues might agree with you, and he or she also shares some juicy gossip with you about the person, and you're both satisfied with these conversations. But what if the colleagues share what you have said to other people, and then the news spreads out? Eventually, it gets back to the persons that you were talking about, and the source is you. And third, even if no one finds out, think about the vibe you're creating. I often feel like gossip can jack people down. Instead of building a haters army, why not focus on lifting others up? At the end of the day, it's not worth the negativity. But I get it. Work can be very, very dry and dull without juicy gossip. So I think it's really important that you find the balance. So it really depends on the vibe of the company that you are working with, and more importantly, people or person who you are sharing the gossip with. And the third thing that you don't share with your colleagues is the mistake that you have made at work. Let's be honest, everyone makes mistakes. No one is perfect. But here is the thing, not everyone needs to know about that. So if you openly share your slip-ups, some colleagues may actually question your professionalism at work. They could start seeing you as careless or not competent as you actually are. And let's face it, first impressions and reputation sticks. Once people have certain image of you in their heads, it's really hard to change that. Do you want to be known as the person who always messing up? Probably not. So my advice, own up your mistake when necessary, like to your manager, but do not go broadcasting it like to everyone in the office. Some things are better to keep low-key. And number 4, The fourth thing that you don't share with your colleagues is things that only benefits you. What I'm talking about is, for example, you will get promoted at work, or you will get a very exciting project. Here's my advice. Don't be the one to break out the news. First, it can come across as like bragging, even if it's not your intention. And second, it might make your colleagues feel like they are left out or less valued, especially when they are hoping for the same opportunity. Instead, let the news come from official company news. That way, it feels more professional, and you can also avoid other unnecessarily awareness or resentments in the company. But of course, you can still celebrate this good news with close friends or families. But at work, it's very subtle. When you are at work, let your work speak for you. And here comes to my last tips. Fifth things that you don't share with your colleagues is things you have, but your colleagues doesn't. This might be a little bit similar to the fourth tips, but actually what I say here is something not very relevant to work. Maybe it's something that like a cool possessions or a life milestone, something that's personal but not necessarily relevant to your work. These things can come out as showing off. Even if you don't mean that way, it can make people feel uncomfortable or envious. However, if you are able to share things that might be helpful to other people or lifting them up, maybe by giving advice or inspirations, it can be a positive thing. But if it is about you, bragging or making comparisons, it's best to keep it to yourself. So next time, if you are very eager to share your latest win, think about the person you're sharing the news with and whether it could make them feel motivated or supported, instead of just making them feel like they are missing out. So that's my advice. And I still want to say, when you are at work, it's still very important to make friends, but it's just the distance that you need to handle with. Just don't be too attached to someone. So these are things that you are better to keep it to yourself. But if you have shared, that's okay, that's fine. Then I think you have already prepared mentally of what is about to come. And let it be what it is. It's not the end of the world. If it doesn't cause any issue, then that's great. No one get hurt. So yeah, that's my advice. And if you have other tips, other suggestions, then feel free to comment below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and Happy Chinese New Year! 恭喜发财 to everyone. Bye!